Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here I'm going to demonstrate to you that a good old bandito bug made by Guggenbaits does the trick. Here's the setup right here. And so it's pretty simple, just a good old Texas rig. Weightless. I use little swivels so I don't have to retie every single time I'm changing lures. And all you have to do is just kind of pick your poison, pick your spot. Alright? One of the biggest aspects of catching fish is simply knowing where they're at. You can fish the wrong lure, but if you know where the bass are at, you are going to catch the bass. Because bass are opportunistic feeders, right? They feed if there's food. And even if they're not hungry, they just like eating, alright? So if the bass are not at the location you're at, then you're not going to catch them. Even if you've thrown the perfect lure for the conditions, right? It's as simple as that. But if the bass are where they're at, you find their location, but you're fishing the wrong lure, chances are you're still gonna catch them, because bass are just doing their thing and they're just eating. All right. Did you know there are actually 3 different species of bass? But within those 3 different species, there are also various versions of those 3 species. But it's the most commonly sought after fish in North America. And it's actually literally worldwide everywhere. So if you meet another fellow fisherman, you guys for sure have one species of fish you can bond over. And that is simply largemouth bass. And the reason they call it largemouth bass, because I just watched the video on this, so all of this information is fresh in my mind right now. But the reason they call it largemouth bass is that when their mouth is closed, their jaw looks like it's in front of their eye. So they just have a big mouth, large mouth. And they're very related to smallmouth bass. That's another species. And then the other one is like a spotted bass, I believe. I've never caught either one of those, but what I've caught is just the simple largemouth bass. And like I said, there are various versions of those. They look a little differently depending on where you're at in the world. Like in Florida, they tend to be a little darker. They get massive down there. Think about it. Why would they get so huge over there? All right. Well, it's simple. They simply have more time to grow, more time to eat and reproduce. As a matter of fact, some of those warmer areas, they literally sometimes have 2 spawning times, one in the spring and actually one in the fall, which someone living in the Midwest, pretty north, right, in Iowa, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, some of these areas are just so heavily populated that there's just so much fish, since they reproduce twice a year. And not only do they reproduce twice a year, they're also just that much bigger, at least in theory, because, well, they just have that much more time to get bigger. What I need to do is give y'all a tour of my my kayak here. All right, spot number 2. I always catch a fish here. And what you guys want to do, especially if you're flipping, no matter what you're trying to flip, is you kind of cast it. You want to keep it kind of shallow, because you're not fishing it like a jig. You're fishing it almost like a swim lure, right? Keep it shallow and give it a lot of action. Bass love eating, but you still gotta make it presentable. Still gotta make it like a thrill for them, because they're hunters. They're they like, oh, okay. I'm fishing right here and there's just a little bass just sitting here, but doesn't seem to be interested in my lure. That's ironic, because this whole video is me advertising this lure. I'm not even like trying to advertise it. I'm just saying it works. But you know, bass are kind of like that. You know, you think you figured them out, and they're gonna prove to you that you haven't. because I kid you not, I caught 3 fish over here within the last 7 minutes. So then I'm like, okay, guys, I gotta pull out the camera. This is actually insane fishing. I need to share this with somebody because I like fishing by myself, but then it's also kind of cool to keep up with this channel and share some tips with y'all. But you know, of course, now that y'all are watching, the bass do not want to perform. So while the bass continue to think about whether or not they want to bite, I do want to give you guys a quick rundown of some of the lures I did buy today. Dun dun dun. So this is a chatterbait. It's very similar to what is it called? A spinnerbait, but it doesn't have the spin, right? It makes noise. So it's one of those things you attach some sort of trailer. A bandito bug, the one I'm fishing right now, would actually be a trailer, and you can put it on a chatterbait, and as you reel in, this metal part, this shiny part, makes noise as it's getting pulled through the water, thus attracting the fish. So it's a chatterbait because it chatters on its way back as you reel. And you can control the loudness of the chatter simply by either reeling in fast or releasing it and kind of reeling in a little bit more relaxed. So there you go. Another lure that you may or may not have already heard of. I recommend it, guys. There have, like in every single lure, there's always various brands that make their own versions. I just recommend just pick a cheap one and play around with it. If you like the way um, it works, the way it swims, if you have good luck on them, then I would definitely recommend putting in a little bit more moolah and getting a better one. And better one as in just better structure. It's not gonna break up, and it's just gonna be a sounder build. So that's one that I do really actually recommend, along with the bandito bug. And that one, the bandito bug, comes in all sorts of different colors as well. Alrighty, lure number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we have a popper. Now we're moving up to the upper surface of the water, aka top water. Guys, yes, get a popper. Popper, like I said, are top water lures, which means their bites are gonna be insane. So what you want to do with a popper is, tie it on like normal, and then as it hits the ground, you want to give it a few seconds. So if there were any fish there, they weren't scared, right? Give it a few seconds to kind of settle into the water, and then you can fish it 2 ways. One way is with a very tight line. You can't probably see the line because it's monofilament and it's clear. Very tight line and twitch like as if you're fishing with a jerkbait, and then that will the mouth of the popper itself kind of caves in, thus scooping up the water, thus making big splashes, big bubbles, which then attracts the fish, right? Another way, if you don't want to get the explosive bubbliness of it, which by the way is really cool to fish, but if you don't want that, you can fish the lure with a slightly more give in the line, thus giving it a slightly different taste, or thus giving it a slightly different display. All right. Now, when should you fish a popper? I would recommend fishing a popper when it's relatively calm. The water is calm. I watched a YouTube video here earlier, and they were kind of explaining different lures and when you should throw them. And they were saying a popper like this, top water, you want to fish it when the water is silent, right? And that means sunny day, clear water, and calm water. That's silent. Now, loud would be sunny or cloudy, but mostly cloudy day, windy and dark water, or it's or you're fishing at night. That's when sunny, or that's silent or loud. So for a popper, you want to fish it on a... Oh, that's a fish. Oh, dude, you've got to be kidding me. You've absolutely got to be kidding me. Look at that. It's one of those things the fish are like, oh, yeah, let's entertain him for a little bit. I mean, I don't want to take the whole thing. But let's mess up his rig too, yeah, because not only is he going to be disappointed that we're not on a hook, but he's actually going to have to take the time to re-rig up his rig, so he's even a little bit more frustrated. Anyways, back to topwater. Oh, that is a fish, boys. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay calm. I said stay calm. Yes, stay calm. Fishing teaches you patience. And I thought I'd mastered it, but patience is one of those things you can always improve in. My goodness. So, topwater, my bad. Fish it in silent, clear water. That's what you gotta do. And you kind of play around to what you want to do with it. But I do recommend getting a popper. And I do recommend not being so trashy at fishing. That's a fish. Please take it. This must be bluegill. Or bluegill or crappie, because they're nibbling at it, but they ain't biting. Which kind of makes me a little irritated. I'm not catching anything right after I said bandito bug. It works great. It works wonders. Oh well. Oh, spinnerbait. Now spinnerbait is actually a cool lure, and as you can fish it in either loud or quiet. Or I should say, I've had luck for both, in both loud or quiet water, because you can fish it when it's windy, you can fish it when it's not windy, you can fish it cloudy depending on the color of the lure, and you can fish it when it's sunny like this, right? That's the other thing. How do you pick the right color of the lure? Now, ideally, if you have a lot of money to put into fishing, I would buy, honestly, at least one color of both. No. Within the same lure, I would buy one lighter and one darker. So a lighter color would be something for a cloudier day, I should say. Something to where the fish's visibility is lessened, and you kind of want to help them see your lure a little easier. Because the better they can see your lure, or just in general, the better they can see, the chances of you catching them fish goes up significantly. So clear water, I genuinely, you want something a little darker, because clear water, they can see everything very well. Now clear water, you want to stand out, because everything's bright, but when it's clear and there's just this dark object swimming, and bass are gonna be looking at it, it's like, oh, that's standing out, let me eat it, because that's kind of the way bass are. So dark water, do something kind of bright or even darker than the water, something that either way you're trying to make it stand out. And in clear water, make something dark to stand out. Oh my gosh, do we have a fish? Oh, we have a fish. Oh, come on, bub. I'm not losing this one. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was an interesting hook set. I almost grabbed the barb of the hook itself. That would have been one bloody day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the good Lord has blessed us. After missing like 2 fish in a row. Hey, easy there, bus. I'm trying to free ya. Yeah, I'm the one that got you here, but I'm trying to free ya. Isn't that crazy? It's not crazy. Come on. Look at this. You probably might not be able to see it, but I hooked this sucker in a very inconvenient spot. I bet he thinks it's inconvenient, but so do I. Oh, come on. Help me. Work with me. Oh, there we are. All right, we're good. And there we are. Speaking of largemouth bass, guess who showed up to the party? What a beauty. Guys, now you can actually go and believe me when I say bandito bugs work, right? It took me a few casts, switched the position of, switched the location where we're fishing. But at the end of the day, we got ourselves a beautiful fish right here. Look at it. No monster, but a beautiful fish nonetheless. Should I kiss him? A little slimy, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Well, if you're gonna kiss him, you gotta smell it. So, disgusting, moldy grass. After all, that is what they swim in, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a good one. All right, no monster, like I said, but it ain't a dink. It ain't a dink. And yes, this sucker does work. It just took us a little bit to get there. That's all, right? Another life lesson. You have your goals, your ambitions, and sometimes life's not gonna change the next day. It's not gonna change overnight. Like with YouTube, I upload quite a bit, I would say. It's not like I'm blown up. No. At the end of the day, at least YouTube is just gotta keep grinding, always making the content better, and always making the audience be entertained. At the end of the day, I'm an entertainer, and you're here for entertainment. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yes, it was long, but I hope there were some pointers in the video that you guys kind of took out, or at least felt entertained at all. Got a good bass, went through some lures. If you're interested in fishing, follow, subscribe, like, comment, whatever you feel like doing, or all of the above. And I will be posting a lot more in the future. And without further ado, I think we're going to end it there. Remember, life is good, God is good, all the time. Go outside, get off your butt cheeks, and go fishing. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you till next time.